I'm here in Uganda with the chairs and chief executives of WaterAids in different countries and some of the senior colleagues. We have had a very fascinating few days in this country. We have visited the Kampala Capital Authority to look at some of the urban issues around water and sanitation. We then had a very interesting visit to the field, to the districts of Amuria and Napak in the Karamoja region of northeastern Uganda. And there are lots of fascinating insights that we got into the program that I'd like to share. In many WaterAid countries, we have been talking about district-wide approaches, and we are still trying to get a clarity on what that means. And I'm very pleased to say that I could see that in action here in Karamoja. In a meeting in Amuria, we had the district authorities, and we had a number of NGOs and local community members who came. And what we could see was a vision that they had for water and sanitation. So on one hand, they had a clear identification of the challenges on water and sanitation, but they also had the energy and the enthusiasm and the momentum to come together and think across the district, in communities, across water and sanitation, in institutions like schools, and try to come across a very coherent vision for what needs to be in place to improve access to water and sanitation. And what was even more interesting is, sitting in a district in Amuria or in Napak, we could make the connection with what we saw at the national level. We were very privileged to have a meeting with the Prime Minister in his office. The Prime Minister is now the chair of the interministerial team that is responsible for overseeing progress in WASH. And we had the Finance Minister, we had members of the National Planning Authority, we had members and representatives from departments and ministries of health and education. So we could see that at the national level, there was this coherence emerging about how WASH needs to be understood and how WASH needs to be addressed. And we could see the same thing being mirrored at the district level. And I think that's often something that we don't see in many countries, that coherence of vision and the link between the national to the district or the district to the national. And our views were confirmed today when we had the Partners Roundtable, where different partners came and offered their insights on where WaterAid should focus on research, on sustainability, on community management, on integrating climate change, on addressing issues of voice and accountability, on building capacity of district level authorities and the districts that are responsible for implementing, but also the civil society to be able to advocate effectively. And then I've just come out from the very interesting discussion that we had with the Development Partners Group, which is chaired by the representative of the Austrian Embassy. And we had colleagues from DANIDA, from UNICEF, senior advisors from the ministry. And the discussions were pretty much focused on how WaterAid can add value. And there is such a deep interest in WaterAid's continued engagement in the sector, both to ensure that there are enough resources and to ensure that there are enough capacities to be able to address not just the issue of enhancing and accelerating the rates of water and sanitation coverage, but also to ensure its sustainability. But one thing, one final reflection is the link between policy and practice. And I saw that a fascinating example where there was an issue with water quality and dysfunctional hand pumps, and that was picked up as an issue by the research and policy team to do a detailed research, come up with recommendations, and use the findings of the recommendations to inform policy at the national level. And that's the other learning that I got from Uganda, a practical example of how we can bring together the policy and practice linkage. All in all, a fantastic week, and a huge thank you to colleagues in WaterAid Uganda and to the fantastic partners for hosting us and for sharing with us the lessons.